everyone, I'm Kristen, the Cross Stitching Runner, and welcome to my channel. This channel is all about cross stitch with a little bit of life stuff thrown in. And just before I really get into the swing of things, I just want to say a big hello to all new and returning viewers to this channel. Over the last couple of weeks especially, there's been a noticeable increase with subscriptions and viewers and that kind of thing. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who has decided that they would like to see more of what I have to say and what I have to share with stitching and all that fun stuff that goes with it. So thank you very much and welcome. The last couple of weeks has again been a huge stitching lot of 2 weeks. My wording will get back around. It's all good. So this has probably been a very quiet weekend compared with last weekend, where I was lucky enough, or I feel lucky enough, to be able to have participated in the Black Needle Society's Spring in Stars Hollow, which is part of what made last fortnight's episode just so long, because I was just so excited about the box and its contents and everything that has gone with it. And with these stitching retreats, regardless of where they're being held or I guess what format they're being held in as well, they always remind me of just how much I miss and how much I love being able to catch up with a group of people who are like-minded in terms of stitching, and being able to share with each other the projects that we're working on. I have a bit of a grumble about the experiences that we're having with a particular type of fabric or floss that we're using, or even just grumble about the needing to frog things, the needing to unpick things. So that's what I've loved. And I also loved just being able to hear other perspectives, hear different accents, mostly American accents. It was lovely, wonderful to hear some Australian accents there as well. And knowing that we've got some people ranging from not New Zealand. It would be awesome if there were some people from New Zealand. People from Sydney right through down to Melbourne and Tassie. And I believe there might have even been someone from Western Australia, if I was understanding correctly. But we definitely had some people from some of the eastern states of Australia at least, and it was awesome. It was fantastic, and I definitely cannot rave enough about it. And I hope I can put something into place in my own local area to connect with some people and do some more stitching kind of retreats or stitching days, or something that is just going to be filling my cup. So with those things in mind, let's get into some of the stitching. Now that I was sort of talking a little bit about the stitching box from a couple of weeks ago and the stitching retreat and everything in between, one of the things that I missed being able to share with everyone was this beautiful gift that I received as part of the Black Needle Society's Spring in Stars Hollow. And this was something that someone had stitched for me as part of the Smalls exchange, and I had stitched something for the Autumn in Stars Hollow retreat, or it might have even been, no, I think it might have been the Summer in Stars Hollow retreat. And due to the things that were out of our control in terms of the international postage and that kind of thing, it got included in this year's box. And what I love is that another Australian who I got to meet in the Spring in Stars Hollow, I got to meet her and have a bit of a chat as well, and that she really enjoyed the gift that I stitched for her as well. So this was stitched by Mel. If I'm remembering correctly, Mel, you're based down in Victoria, if I'm remembering correctly. And I just love the stitching that Mel has done for this piece. If I'm understanding correctly, and I'll need to double check her Flosstube episode as well, because I understand that she may have talked about this as well, that it's on this really beautiful 20 count Ada, and I'm not sure what the name of the pattern is or anything like that, but Mel has done some beautiful stitching here, and unknowns to her, purple is one of my favorite colors, and so I just love her choice in the color of the fabric, and that it just goes so well with the colors that she's used for this particular piece as well. So Mel, if by chance you're watching, thank you again so much for this beautiful gift. I normally have it sitting up on the bookcase thing behind me. Actually, you might be able to see the really tall candlestick thing. That's where I usually have this gorgeous piece resting against it. So I'm going to be able to remember forever just the work that you've put into this piece. So thank you again very much. And I know that we got to catch up in one of the stitching rooms during the retreat, and I know I've reached out to you as well via other means that you'd made available to me, and I just wanted to say thank you again so much for putting your love and effort and time and everything into that piece, because I think as all of us as creative people and stitchers, that we know how much time and effort and love that we put into all of our stitching, and to be a recipient of all that love and such is a wonderful thing. So that's all good. That's me being a bit sentimental and such. So thank you very much. Speaking of Stars Hollow and Stitching Retreat and all the rest, one of the projects that I started as part of the retreat and one of the Stitching Challenge prompts is the chart that came in the Spring and Stars Hollow box. So this is the chart, and I chose to go with the physical chart this time because it's just going to be a little bit easier for the plans that I have and such. So what I've chosen to do for this particular piece is start it on the same fabric that I'd finished the Autumn in Stars Hollow piece for. And because of the dimensions of these pieces, it was just going to be a lot easier to stitch this spring one right above the autumn. And so this is, this is where I think in the space of not quite the weekend, I think I started this a day or two before the retreat started, and it's come together quite well. And I'll probably talk a little bit about it throughout the rest of this episode as well, where it's just amazing how much stitching you get done when you're talking with people, where sometimes the conversations can be just so cool and funny and interesting, and that you want to be engaged with that conversation as well, that sometimes the amount of stitching that happens goes down a bit, but that's okay because we're talking about stuff that we're interested in, so it's no fuss at all. And again, with this particular piece, like the Summer and Stars Hollow that you'll see soon as well, I have my own personalizations in the chart already. So this is where the pink that we see in for the background behind the guitar, the original design calls for a specialty thread that I don't have in my collection. And so based on some of the pinks that I had at hand, just that one particular shade alone didn't fit my idea or picture in my head for how I wanted the color to look. in terms of what I saw on the cover picture. So what I did was I used blended threads. So they're both DMC threads. I think one is, they're both from the 900 range. So I think one strand might be 956 and then the other one might be 98 something. I can't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but just by using one strand of the darker pink, one strand of the lighter pink, I think it's come up pretty nicely. I'm really happy with how that's looking. And then with the variegated green that I have for what will be a bit of the background behind out the Al's Pancake World Chinese takeaway container. This is actually a specialty thread that came in, I think it might have been the spring or summer, in Stars Hollow Stitchy box, and I think it's a Colours in Cotton brand, and I believe they've called it Pickles. So I'm actually just really liking the subtle variegation that the green has. So I'm going to stick with that, and I guess anywhere else that the green, that particular green will be called for, I will use it there, and I think it'll turn out pretty good. So that was that. With some of these pieces, I don't know how many stitches I've actually put into them. I know that with some of the stitching challenges where I think I averaged at least 100 stitches per session. In some cases, when there wasn't much talking, I would get nearly 200 done if it was just a really good block of stitching. So that, or block of stitching, I should say, meaning that it was a block of just one color. I didn't need to worry about changing threads too much. I didn't need to worry too much about a lot of counting because I'd already figured out where I was going to be stitching and all that jazz. So that worked out pretty good. The next piece I have to share with you has nothing to do with the Spring in Stars Hollow retreat. This next piece is very much to do with the other stitching challenge that I've set for myself around the Australian Football League, the AFL. We're currently in the middle of middle towards the end of round 8. So today is the last day of that round, and we've got I think 3 more games to be played today. And what I've started doing is for each round I'll sort of jot down who I think is going to win out of each game, and I'll start pre-stitching, so to speak. I'll start working on that particular project, and if I happen to be watching that game while I'm stitching and it looks like the team who I thought was going to win isn't, I'll be like, okay, cool, I've got some stitching done on that project anyway. I'll pause it, and then I'll pause that project, my progress on it, and then get on to the project that looks like will need some love and attention. So with that in mind, some of the last few games have actually been really high scoring games, and high scoring meaning that they've been in the mid to high 90s, if not well over into the hundreds area. So with this next project, it's 12 days of Christmas, and the pattern is out of the ultimate the ultimate cross stitch Christmas. It is volume 19 from the year 2018, and the design is by Rona Norrie, and this is what it's going to look like when it's done. And already I'm doing personalizations with this project because I am not stitching it on navy blue. I am most likely stitching this around the 25 to 28 count fabric, so that's okay. I am using all of the called for thread so far, and this is where I'm at so far. And throughout this Flosstube episode, I am going to try and include my progress pictures where I can. They probably will only stay up for a really short amount of time, so it's not quite blink and you miss, but it's close there. So with the 12 days of Christmas, I don't think I stitched this in round 7 because both teams who are connected to this one lost, annoyingly lost. However, I think I'm due to stitch this project at least once for this round. So at some stage today, a team called St Kilda Saints are due to play, and I think they're going to win. So that's why I'm just mentioning this particular project. And I am definitely going to be personalizing a bit of this project because I'm just going to fold this up just a little bit. The French hens that are near the top, and I know that I've talked about this in my last episode as well. This particular French hen that I've got my finger just above, he or she or they should have been just a couple of stitches higher. So I'm just going to be getting creative because I am lazy. I am good at being creative and working around my mistakes. So hopefully all goes well with that one. So that is that, because yeah, I thought I got some stitching done on it with the last couple of weeks, but based on my notes, it looks like that I haven't. Oh well, it is what it is. So I just need a quick drink. Stitching. Speaking of stitching weekends and stitching boxes and that, this particular mug came from, I think, the last stitching box. I think it was the Summer and Stars Hollow. This mug came from the Belt and Needle Society. Okay, so the next project that I have to work on, and I actually worked on this during the retreat because I needed to work on a project that had a watch in it. Unless I missed that stitching that challenge. Australian hours versus some areas of America aren't great. That's by the by, it is what it is. But I'm still working on Dodgem cars, and I've made some good progress. So this is where I'm at now for Dodgem cars. And also the Bulldogs won their game last week. So I had to put a minimum of 94 stitches into this one. And then the Bulldogs won their game last night. And so I need to put another 86 stitches into this. And I'm sure I'll be able to get it done today, if not the next couple of days. So that's no worries at all. And I'm making progress. This is part of the point of doing a lot of these challenges. It's to get the progress. So that's all good. And the next project I have to share, I realized that I could have worked on this project, but I should have actually worked on a different one. So I'll get there. It'll be all right. Anyway, my point is, I got some stitching done on Midnight Glow, and this is one that is getting so flipping close to being finished. It's getting a bit funny. Carlton won their game last week, and they had a really good win. I was able to get 152 stitches, a minimum of 152 stitches into Midnight Glow. And this is where I'm at so far. So I realise that maybe with the lighting at the moment, it's not great. So I've been focusing very much down near the bottom here, and yeah, it's exciting. It's not where no, nowhere near a page finish as yet, but it's getting close, which is really nice. And again, it will look stunning when this is done. I'll most likely frame it up and keep for myself, and not sure where exactly I'll hang it up just yet, but I have no doubt that I will find a good space for it. Hopefully somewhere in a public space in my home, where lots of people will be able to walk past it and appreciate it as much as I do. So that will be good. The next project that has been getting a lot of love, because I've got extra motivation behind it, is water tigers too. So this is probably one of my longest whips at the moment. And let's see, the Tigers did not win last week, but they definitely did this week, or the week that we're just experiencing. So I've put a minimum of 104 stitches into this project. And I'm saying minimum because I've been doing stitching outside of the actual, I guess, allocated time, for when the game was on and the winning of the game and that kind of thing. So this is where I'm at so far. So this is, I guess, a good example of what one page can look like. So I'm working on the bottom of the second last page, and it is looking good. I have been working on some of the blocks of color where I can, so I can feel like I'm making a bit more progress. And this chart, similar to the Midnight Glow one as well, they've got really comfortable balances of chunks of color, or blocks of color, and when there is the confetti stitching, then they're comfortable amounts. They're comfortable enough to go, I'm really looking forward to not doing more confetti. So it's just got that really good balance. You don't get too bored with the blocks of color either. So that works out really well. The next project I have to share is this one. So my printer did start dying towards the bottom there, but this is a chart that I'm doing for myself, and I don't know who the copyright lies with exactly. So that's why it's definitely not a hot cross stitching design or anything like that. So the quote, if it's not coming up very well on the camera, is saying, Pisces, not everyone gets the same version of me. One person will tell you I'm a beautiful soul. Another will tell you I'm a cold-hearted arsehole. Believe both. I act accordingly. So I am looking forward to getting many of the colours stitched on this one. And I also have not mentioned anything about fabric or colours or anything like that for many of the projects I've been working on. So the good thing I will say is that the projects I'm working on do vary a lot, and I love being able to switch between the 14 count, the 28 count, the 25, and whatever else that goes with it. But this particular Pisces quote project, it's connected to a team in my stitching challenge called Port Adelaide, because of their team colours. And this is where I'm at so far. And I've been working a lot on the actual quote because I've been getting a little bit bored of stitching the teal, which is the DMC colour of 3808. And by stitching the quote a bit as well, it is going to help me to give a bit of context for where the fish will be, and it will help me out with some ideas and theories I've got in mind of how I could actually stitch the fish and just make it something a bit different, something interesting. So I'll have to wait and see how I go on that. But what I have completely missed is that I have put a minimum of 83 stitches into this. I may have stitched this during the retreat as well. I can't remember what the prompt might have been for it, but I might have been even stitching on this when there wasn't a challenge on. So either way, I'm stitching it 2/2, and when I get to the fish, I might stitch it 2/1. This looks like is 28 count fabric that I've had in my stash for ages. So Port Adelaide are due to play today sometime, if not playing now already. And yep, it'll be all cool. So the next project I have is a design works project called Zebras, and I realised I've forgotten to grab one of my projects. Anyway, my point is that the Gold Coast Suns won the game last week, and they what did they do? Their final score was 72 points, and they missed out winning their game last night. If not, yeah, they didn't win this weekend. They missed out by a smidgen, which meant that I got to work on another project called not Midnight Glow, Fight Like a Girl, that you will see soon. But this is what the minimum of 72 stitches looks like. I am going to need to frog a part of it, which is going to be annoying. This particular project is not full coverage, so I don't have the luxury of fudging it as much as I'd like to be able to. But I just love the colours that are in this one. Speaking of colours and how much I love them, this next project that I'll share, I just need to grab a drink. Okay, so this next project that I have to share with you is a hot cross stitching design. It's called Dewdrop Daisy, and I don't have the final picture with me at the moment, but if the editing powers that be are kind to me, I will include a cover page. But this is where I am at so far. So Fremantle, what did they do? They did nothing last week. They did not win their game, but they did win, annoyingly win, the game that they played recently this weekend. So I will need to put a minimum of 117 stitches into this project. And I say annoyingly won because I had initially picked their opposing team, Hawthorn, to win, partly because Hawthorn are due for a win. They are a team that my pop has supported for forever. And I was hoping to be able to stitch on mini mushrooms. I can still stitch on mini mushrooms. There's nothing stopping me on that one. I was just hoping to have some dedicated time with mini mushrooms. Anyway, so the other thing I really want to point out with this picture, though, in terms of Dewdrop, is that I did get to stitch on it during the stitching retreat as well. I can't remember the prompt had been to stitch on something green or with green. Either way, I knew that I had some block of color that was going to be green. So what I want to point out is that this is going to be where the bottom of my page will be. So I'm really excited about that. So this is where I'm going to fill in the gap here and then start working across, and hopefully in a couple of years' time, this will be done. Sorry about that. So one of the slight benefits of the slight glitch that we just had is that it enabled me to grab my tablet to be able to show you the cover page of Dewdrop Daisy and the next few projects that I have to share with you. So this is, horrible glare, sorry about that. So this is roughly what Dewdrop is due to look like. And the weather today, as you might have seen in the reflection, is surprisingly nice here. Today was meant to be a bit of a rainy day. Yeah, only a little bit of rain this morning. Anyway, Dewdrop Daisy, I'm really excited about the time that I'll get to put into it, and it's going to look pretty good if I say so myself. So the next project that I have to share with you, that I didn't think I was going to be able to share with you, is another one of my own designs called Black and White Rolled Up Daisy. And this is sort of roughly what it will look like when it's done, and glare is not being nice to me today. So it is going to be pretty cool. I'm stitching it on 18 count black Ada, and this is where I'm at so far. I had put a minimum of 59 stitches into this one, and that's because Collingwood won their game, and Collingwood, I believe, will win this afternoon's game. They're going to be playing against a team that I support, the Swans. Swans have had an absolute of the last few games. They got beaten by one flipping point last week, and they had their asses handed to them the previous week. So just based on that form of the last few weeks, it just has me thinking that it's just not going to be a good week, this one. That said, it's a bit like some of the superannuation ads that we see here in Australia, where the financial advice is past performance is not past performance is not a true indicator of future performance, or something similar to that. That's one of the catchphrases or sayings that's part of some of the superannuation ads that we see here in Australia. So I have to keep remembering that a little bit with some of the football games, especially when I get them wrong. And yeah, anyway. Anyway, back to the stitching. This is going to look really good when it's done. I'm really happy with the progress that I'm making with it. And it's just going to look good when it's done. My coffee, I'm still waiting for it to kick in a little bit. I have had a really busy day so far, and my energy levels are just going. So, anyway, the next project that I have to share with you, I don't think I stitched during the retreat or as part of the retreat, but this is part of a Dimensions kit called Barnyard Kittens. And this one has been getting a lot of attention or love from me because the Geelong Cats, they're on fire at the moment. They really are. I'm waiting for some of their old players to retire, because then Collingwood will come to realise just how much they relied on their older players. But that's me just being bitter and twisted because they handed Sydney Swans their asses a couple of weeks ago. So, with that in mind, last week I needed to put 132 stitches into the project. And then this weekend I needed to put how much in? 98 stitches into it. And so I've been focusing on a bit of the banner here, but I also last weekend focused on the ginger kitten to have her looking just so cute now, and you can really see that it's taken shape. So with the, I guess the panel for the barnyard door or whatever it is, that is 10 stitch. And with the stitching challenge that I'm doing for myself, to me, I don't care about whether it's full cross, half cross, or anywhere in between. A stitch is a stitch. So that means that with the Geelong cats, for example, and this project, that I don't care if I need to put 152 stitches in as 10 stitch or full cross, it's going to be 152 stitches. So that just helps me with getting through that particular section of the project, and it means that I can then move sooner on to a project that I'm really, really keen to work on. So that's just my own way of doing things. The next project that I have to share with you is, what is it? This one is called Mini Stitch in Time, and I believe I may have talked about this one last weekend. GWS did play, I think last night, but they didn't win. So this is a Heaven and Earth design. The artwork is by Amy Stewart, and I'm so sorry about the glare. Okay, so that's sort of roughly what it's going to look like. I'm stitching using all the called for colours, 1/1 on I think 25 or 28 count easy grid fabric, and this is where I'm at so far, and just filling it in a bit. I can't remember if I stitched this a bit on last weekend at all. If I did, it was just as a bit of filling in between challenges and just catching up with people. So that was that. GWS did play in my hometown Canberra last night, and it was really good to, not last night, Friday. It was Friday, because Friday it rained in Canberra. Or even yesterday it might have. Anyway, the point is, it rained in Canberra. Canberra's got really cold weather today. I think it's meant to be like a top of 8 degrees or something Celsius. So that's where I was able to see that it was raining in Canberra. It was good to see some of the familiar sights there. All is good. But that's got nothing to do with stitching. The next bit of stitching that I do have to share is part of a challenge that I worked on during the retreat last weekend. And this one is another Heaven and Earth design. The artwork is by Lisa Parker, and this is sort of roughly what it's going to look like at the end. That's, yeah, my apologies again for shadows and glare and that kind of thing. So I can't quite remember. I think it might have been stitched something with black or something like that. I think that's what the prompt might have been. So this is where I had focused a fair bit just around this general area of the cat's paw, where you see a lot of the dark. And with this one, I think I had anticipated one of the teams for this was going to win, but they didn't. Anyway, that's by the by. I'm looking forward to getting some more progress done on this one. So if I can motor along and get a few more things done, I'll be able to focus my attention on this. So we'll wait and see. Okay, we are getting towards the end. I'm feeling tired. I'm looking forward to sitting down, chilling out, doing a bit of stitching. But we've got 2 more projects to go. This next one is actually a new start, and annoyingly, I don't have like a color picture or anything about to show what this is sort of going to roughly look like. So what I'm hoping to do is find the project. So this one is connected to Summer and Stars Hollow, and with this picture that I'm about to show, this actually is a mock-up. I'm going to see if I can, no, that's not going to work. Okay, so I'm going to need to show a mock-up, but the challenge with this one is that a lot of the background will look white, it'll look blank, because Pattern Keeper at the moment doesn't recognize some of the specialty threads like Weeks Dye Works or Colour and Cotton or anything like that. So that's why it's only able to show some of the DMC colors. So just very quickly, that is roughly Summer in Stars Hollow. And this is where I am at so far. This was just started on a whim, which is why I didn't measure it very well. This is some really cheap, crappy linen that I had purchased, I think from Spotlight or somewhere like that. And it's, I think this is 28 count linen. I'm saying that it's crappy linen because it was already pre-cut. I don't think it was cut very well. It's falling apart like nobody's business. But I'm stitching this 2/2 using DMC threads, and the colors where they should be specialty threads, I'm just sort of picking out what I think it should be. So this particular bright, vibrant blue, I just love. I think this one's like 995 or something very similar to that. And I just thought that it would be such a complementary color to the DMC color that's here. And I'm very much borderline on the edge of the fabric here. I will most likely attach just some plain fabric to the edges, just so that way I can feel comfortable with getting in what I need for here, because I think for here that there should be some yellow stitching for the sunflowers or something. It may be that I just don't stitch some of those stitches, and because I'm not going to be connecting up the panels, it's not going to be a big drama if I miss it. And I can restitch this chart as well on some nicer fabric, and once we've done Winter in Stars Hollow, I could then go boom, 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 and have this really gorgeous looking panel. I don't know, so many options and ideas. It's all going to be okay. Okay, finally, we are at our last project to share with you. And this is one that I've not done anything to do with the stitching retreat. This is just purely to do with a couple of teams that are part of the stitching challenge I'm doing. So I'll just bring up the cover picture of what this is going to look like. And it is called Fight Like a Girl, and this is roughly what it's going to look like. And I can't quite tell for the life of me if it's turning out very well because of the way sunlight is happening for where I am. My apologies if it did not appear at all. But this is where I am at so far. And the Melbourne Demons and the Brisbane Lions have been doing reasonably well. So Brisbane, they won their game last week, and I put 115 stitches in because of them. And then the Melbourne Demons, they won their game last weekend, and I put 139 stitches into it. And then this weekend, Brisbane won, and I put 103 stitches into it. And Melbourne Demons won by a whisker, and I put 90 stitches into this as a result. So that's where, this project is just really humming along, and I'm enjoying it because it's got books in it and that kind of thing. And whenever I am stitching on it, I'm looking forward to stitching on this other project that or chart that I've got in my collection that I haven't started yet, but I'm really keen to start it because it's got books in it, it's got a theme of dogs in it as well. And just scrolling through to find it. It's called Dog Bookshelf, and it's been charted by Randolph Spangler. And this is what it will look like. Hopefully that's appearing, because I can't tell at all on my screen at the moment if that's appearing very well. But what I think is really cool and clever with this chart that I'm keen to work on is that it's a play on words. So like with the golden Labrador, it's got on golden lawn, and then with the husky, it's got the dog, the cat, and the wardrobe. And for the French bulldog, it's got a tall tale of two doggies. And then with the cocker spaniel, it's the cocker in the rye. And then we've got the tale of puppy rabbit. And then we've got Alice's Adventures in Puppyland, and it goes along those sorts of themes, and they're just so cute. And what I love with the bookshelf thing is that Heaven and Earth Designs have got it set up where they could even be stitched as bookmarks. You could purchase the pattern separately to just do, say, Fluffy Rabbit or Puppy Rabbit, or what is it? Harry Poodle is actually one of the other ones. So whatever works for you, but that's pretty much it for stitching. You've already sort of heard a bit of the life update, in a sense that I was doing a stitching retreat last weekend. I think it was last weekend. My timing has gone a little bit out of balance. So I guess the other really bit of life update is I'm on my own at the moment. Michael, my partner, he drove down to Canberra this morning, and actually, yeah, it was last weekend. That was the stitching retreat. So he's down in Canberra for the next few days because he's got doctor's appointment, that kind of stuff going on. It's really windy up here at the moment. The weather here was actually meant to be a bit in the sense that it was meant to be raining, overcast, cloudy, but it was really only like that for a little bit this morning, and then the wind's blown away all of the clouds. But I'm really glad that my partner is in Canberra at the moment, just to properly check up on our house and all the rest, because we had a little bit of a security scare with our house, but everything's okay, everyone's safe, everyone's sound. It was just a bit of a wake-up call of just some things we need to do around the house. But yeah, it's going to be really cold in Canberra over the next few days. It's autumn here in Australia, so temperatures are definitely changing a bit. But yeah, with me being really tired at the moment, my aim was to get as much of the place here cleaned up as much as I could, in the sense of laundry. I have done, I've intentionally done, I think, 3 loads of washing. I've changed bed sheets. I was going to do some vacuuming, but it's like, no, I need to sit and chill now. Because by doing all the laundry and doing this stuff, it was a full moon last night in Australia, and just as part of just the full moon side of things, of cleaning things up, setting intentions, that kind of stuff, and also with today being a Sunday here in Australia, it sort of sets it up nicely for the working week, and just knowing that I don't need to worry about doing too much for the rest of the time. And I feel like I can justify sitting on my bum in front of the TV for a while and just doing stitching. I had made an attempt to go for a run today. I went to the gym because the weather wasn't great at the time, and I had the best of intentions to run 9 kilometers on the treadmill. For anyone who has run on the treadmill before, you know how much of a time warp it can be on there, where because you're not moving anywhere, it's just a mat thing that's moving, that's what's making you move. That's where it's like you go into a time warp. But I was able to get just a smidgen under 4Ks done. So it is what it is. I ran, and I'm happy with that. So we'll get there. I'm just looking forward to sleeping well tonight, and it'll be all right. Michael will be home Wednesday, maybe Thursday, and it'll be good to see him again, even though we'll be in contact the whole time that he's away. So it is what it is. I will stop rambling and stop talking, and I will see you all next time.